Your evidence is a Google Doc. You cannot image it. You cannot write block it. You cannot even touch the drive it lives on. It sits on someone else's server in a country you can't name, commingled with 10,000 other tenants. Welcome to SaaS and Google Cloud Forensics, where the rules of disk forensics simply do not apply, and your most powerful tool isn't a write blocker, it's a subpoena, GCP first. Cloud audit logs are the primary source, and there are 4 types. Know which ones you can trust. Admin activity. Writes and config changes, always on, cannot be disabled. That's your guaranteed evidence. Data access. Reads of actual data must be explicitly enabled, and it's where data exfiltration hides. System event. Google initiated auto repairs, migrations, and policy denied. Every time a policy blocked a request. Pure attack signal. Admin activity is always there. Data access is the one nobody turned on. Security Command Center, SCC, is GCP's answer to guard duty plus Security Hub. One pane of glass. Its findings map straight to attacker behavior, active scan, brute force, credential access, data exfiltration, privilege escalation. Same idea as the AWS world. A detection layer sitting on top of your logs, surfacing the patterns a human would take weeks to find. It tells you where to look. The audit logs tell you what happened. Google Workspace. This is where most real cases live. The admin console gives you audit reports per application. Drive audit, file access, sharing, downloads, deletions. Gmail audit, sent, received, forwarded, deleted. Login audit, authentication and MFA. Token audit. Every OAuth app a user authorized, which is how attackers quietly persist. The classic investigation, data exfiltration. Look for downloads to a personal account, external share events, mass download bursts. Drive audit is the smoking gun in an insider theft case. Email lands in your lap constantly, so own Gmail header analysis. The golden rule, read the received headers from the bottom up. Bottom is the origin, top is the destination. That's the path the message actually traveled. Then go straight to authentication results. SPF fail, DKIM fail, DMARC fail. 3 failures? That's spoofing confirmed. An X originating IP gives you the true sender before any relay rewrote it. The from line lies, the headers don't. Now the hard wall, SaaS evidence challenges. You get API only access, no imaging ever. Multi-tenancy. Your evidence is mixed with everyone else's. Data residency. It might physically live in another country, which drags in MLAT treaties. And ephemeral data, chat messages that auto-delete before you even file. So the move is legal, and the order matters. First, an emergency preservation request. 18 U.S.C. 2703F. Freeze the data before it's gone. Then the subpoena, the court order, or the warrant to actually produce it. Preserve first. Produce second. Containers. Docker forensics is just disk forensics if you know the paths. Container file system. var lib docker overlay 2. The merge directory. Container logs. var lib docker containers. The container ID -json.log. Memorize that path. The killer command. Docker diff. It shows everything that changed inside the container versus its base image. A for added, C for changed, D for deleted. So when an attacker drops a crypto miner into a running container, Docker diff lights it up instantly. Kubernetes scales the problem. The evidence is the API server audit log. Every request to the cluster with the verb, the user, the source IP, and the object touched. Watch for a service account creating a pod named something like crypto miner. The live tools, kubectl get pods, all namespaces, kubectl logs. With -- previous to catch the crashed container instance. Kubectl describe for the full story, and always check RBAC. In overprivileged service account is how one compromised pod becomes the whole cluster. Chain of custody breaks differently in the cloud. No write blocker, no physical witness, no drive to hash at the scene. So you adapt, Document every API call you made to collect with timestamps. Hash all exported data the instant it lands. Record the credentials and authorization you used. Get the provider's legal attestation that the data is authentic. And note the data residency, which region, which country, because that determines whose laws apply. You can't prove a write blocker, you prove the API trail instead. Google Cloud and SaaS in one breath. GCP, 4 audit log types, admin activity always on, data access you must enable. SCC is the detection layer. Workspace, Drive, Gmail, login, token audit reports. Read Gmail received headers bottom to top. SPF plus DKIM plus DMARC, all fail equals spoofing. SaaS is API only. Preserve under 2703F first, produce later. Docker, overlay to, and Docker diff. Kubernetes, API audit logs and kubectl. Hash on export, document the API trail. Domain 12, done. Next up, domain 13, email and social media forensics. 6 objectives left. The end is in sight.